Martin shave tests, Friday the 26th. I've got rather an interesting shave to do. First of all, I'm going to use, from my good friend Marcel in Belgium, I'm going to use this Dutch, I presume it's Dutch, shave stick. It does say quite clearly on it, Verguld Hand, and it says Sheerstaaf. So Sheerstaaf, very nice smell. Really pleasant aroma, so I've got to give it a go. Wasn't it decent of him to send it over? I'm going to do it by rubbing it on. If that doesn't work, which it probably will, then what I'll do is put the brush to it. But anyway, yeah, I received a parcel, not from Marcel, I received a parcel from Londinium, from London, with a whole batch of stuff which I bid on eBay. Not very happy. My own fault, by the way, entirely my fault. But what I did was, I didn't look closely at the razor, which is what I wanted. There was a stone, two stones actually. Well, a stone, some sharpening pastes, and various other shaving commodities. The gentleman in question wasn't able to get a shave out of this razor. I'm not surprised. It's a Friodur 72 stainless, and they need a bit of a touch. Anyway, I wanted it because it had it was the one with the very pretty Friodur design on the blade, which at one time was little gilded checkers. And it is still a very attractive blade, but I hadn't noticed the scales. I'm pretty certain are replaced. So thanks very much, buddy. My fault. I didn't look sufficiently. He accepted my offer, and now I've got it. Anyway, this is actually very nice. This is larding up very pleasantly. And as anybody knows, I'm not an expert on soaps and lathers, but this is good. I'm in a bit of a rush. Do forgive me. Let me put this down. Put a bit more light on the subject. Not that it makes a lot of difference. What passes for summer outside, we have got some sun for once. Anyway, let me get back to the discovery. One of the things that was a bit of a turn on for me buying this rather horrible Friodur was the fact that he couldn't actually get it to shave. So I thought, ha, he doesn't know how to set a bevel, which turned out to be perfectly true. Now here it is, and as you can probably make out, it has that absolutely delicious pattern on the blade. I've always wanted one of these, but I didn't really want the unmarked scales. Quite clearly says a J.A. Henkel's Solingen with the little twins on the blade, and of course the Friodur on the spine, and the J.A. Henkel's Solingen Zwellingsdeck on the other side, like thus. So I thought, do I put it on a coticle, which was the main success I've had with stainless? Oh no, I'm going to take this from bevel set purely to 10K, and it is now hanging hair tested. It's hanging hair testing very, very well. Let's see how it shaves on a pure synthetic 10K edge. I'm quite excited actually. This is about 2 and a bit days of stubble. I've got to say, it feels pretty good on this side. It has that strange stainless steel feel. It's cutting nicely. Well. So maybe my fault with the smaller stainless blades I've fought hard with, the Henschel's 50.5, round nose 50.5, which is only a 5/8, not much cop. However, I then tried using a nice coticle method, which worked very, very well indeed. Only on some, I suspect I might have gone far too fine on the others. So maybe having a slightly coarser, not that I would call 10K coarse. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with this. Shaving very well. Prep is everything. I did use warm water. Yeah. Well. Yeah. It's a nice size. It's a 6/8 as well. I don't really like 5/8. There are exceptional 5/8 out there. If you're prepared to put up with the very stiff grind, the very hard steel, the very stiff, hard steel, then of course the Swedish razors are very good. But they're tough. They're tough steel, and you need even a more special technique. But I'm all about steel. And I won't be defeated. So let's see what that looks like. Yeah, it's working very, very well. I'll go against the grain and across the grain, even though I've only got 2 days of stubble. I've just watched those wonderful honing video by our very good friend in Louisiana, Eric the Cajun Blade. And Eric did some wonderful work, and then he shaved. And I've got to say, that was a revelation. I've never seen so much stubble in my life. He has the testosterone of a raging bull. And 4 days of stubble on Eric is amazing. Not pretty, but amazing. Now, I'd never picked stainless as a supremely good razor, or rather supremely good edge, but it's working. You can't get away from it. Yep, working very well. Listen to that. Maybe in a way I've cracked it by using a 10k edge rather than a 12 or a 20. For carbon steel, you can use a 20k edge and get fantastic results. Maybe I'm expecting too much. Anyway, let me wipe some of this off. Here's the blade again. I think you'll admit that's an extremely attractive design. I haven't had one before, so Muggins here said, oh, I've got to have that. And I paid too much. And it hasn't got the right scales. But I can fix it. I'm going to search for a really rubbish Henschels of the same size with good grips and the little Henschels sign on the side of the scales, and I'm going to buy it and I'm going to swap them over because I do things like that. Yep, adequate but not great. But I've only this second finished honing it. I've only just dropped it, so maybe I ought to try one more shave with this on another day. If I'm really unhappy with it, which I'm not. It's a little bit draggy under the nose. But then it is stainless. Yeah, I don't think it's quite refined enough. As you can see, it's doing a perfectly good job. It's just, it's not spectacular. A few buffing passes on this side. For the more refined amongst us that want to bone up on proper technique, I would still recommend watching the instruction videos from America. Because quite honestly, Barber Dave is very, very good. He knoweth what he's talking about. And so his techniques, buffing passes, and I can't name them all. Many. He's very, very good. You know, the rolling over the chin, which is very interesting. That ought to be learnt by everyone. I do find this area here is more prone to giving trouble. So stick your tongue into your jaw and blow out your cheeks to help. Little tiny bit draggy, not bad, but doesn't feel uncomfortable. So I'm going to say it's good. Good for now. So this was with a rather unusual 10K stone, the one I rather favour, which is the Naniwa stone. It's a thin yellow 10K stone on an aluminium alloy plate, which is very clever actually. Clever of the people that make it. Yeah, I've had better. But it's doing it. So here's a 90% proof that you can very, very quickly hone up a stainless razor, particularly a 72 Friodur by J.A. Henschel's. I would say very quick. Anyway, it went from a completely non-existent edge onto, actually I must admit, it wasn't torn up the edge, there was no great faults, it didn't have an edge. So I put it onto 3K Naniwa, quite harsh. I gave it a good old sorting out. Then 3K Naniwa, 5K, then the Jikonmu, whatever it is, 8K. The super white by one of my favourites. Very, very brief, just very short on that. And then straight onto the 10K, and I stropped it and it's redeemed. But I wouldn't advise it. Look carefully at your adverts, chaps. This is, I think, camel bone, and it ain't original. So what a chump. However, what counts is the blade. I'm into the steel. It's a good blade. Had no faults on it, just no edge. And now it's shaving a treat. Anyway, 13 minutes, 18 seconds is quite enough from me. But what I will do is I'll just give it the final test, which is put the alum. So one thing about the alum block, it won't hurt on stainless steel. It'll totally wreck a carbon blade if you're silly enough to do what I did once. That was the first and only time I've done it. No, it's a little bit stinging on the moustache. I shouldn't have attempted a fool's pass on a freshly honed edge I wasn't sure of. I'm going to try in future to refine that particular number 72 Friodur. I might even give it an experimental 12 or even a 20K edge. I think the smaller stainless steels, I just didn't get any joy. However, that's it, chaps. This is very nice. Thank you so much, Marcel. Extremely nice Dutch, easily taken anywhere shave stick. Very nice too. I'm going to take a picture of it and I'll post it up on the sites. And thank you, chaps, if you found this interesting. Do subscribe if you haven't already, and give it a like if you fancy it. Anyway, Friday afternoon, I want to go out. So I'll see you all guys very, very soon.